And welcome everybody to ASD Live, brought to you by Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, a special Breeders' Competition 2023. Santa Anita's the place to be on Friday and Saturday. 5 races for the juveniles, 2-year-olds, babies, whatever you want to call them. We have 5 races on Friday and then followed up by 9 Breeders' Cup races on Saturday. Stretch, you got big plans this weekend? I think you might.
I do have some big plans. We'll get to that as we go
on
okay. Where I am.
You're going to move it, put it in there somewhere.
I will get it in there, and just I have a story time tomorrow's show, but a bold prediction today. It is a fun couple days ahead of us. Potential to cash some big tickets. I think this is our 4th preview show that we've done, and we've lucky enough over the years cashed some nice tickets. It's almost like we take turns on who hits the bigger day.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Last year I was lucky enough. 2 years ago you cashed a couple real big ones. So one thing just to mention, if you're following along, take in the information from us. You don't always have to follow the bets or selections. We're just trying to give you that information that maybe add to your picks or go from there. It's tough. You're going to see that Kirt and I are a little bit different on a few of them. Well, many of them today.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
And as you mentioned, day 1 is the 2-year-olds. And we know just watching at how important or how big a change goes with the 2-year-old from one race to the next. Some very lightly raced 2-year-olds running. Normally, you don't see only 2 starts and they're coming to the Breeders' Cup. So watch out for that. Anything to kind of add there, Kirt?
Well, and just to add, all our handicapping has been done early. So come race time, there will be some extra scratches. There is 5 scratches that we will allude to as we do go through today. But expect the unexpected, kind of like the Derby this year. So those aren't in our handicapping picks. So we might have to adjust as we go, at least on Breeders' Cup Day. But here's what we got for now. Let's kick it off, Stretch. What's the weather going to be?
Well, it's going to be partly cloudy, 27 Celsius, 80 Fahrenheit. We can see our weather report. Adam's done a great job. A lot of sun. I'm looking over it. Now, I'm hoping that after you get to the track, leaving the track with all that money.
I'm hoping so too, because the tab account is full and ready to go, and I want to be running away from the track with that when I cash out on Sunday.
For sure. And so it doesn't look like there's going to be any factor right now of rain, so it should be fast and firm.
We're going to kick it off with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. They're going to go 5 furlongs on the turf, and this starts off at race number 5 from Santa Anita on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bit of an undercard. Always good to check that. Helps you out before. Yeah, only the 6th time being run, and they actually alternate between years. They go 5, 5.5, and as you mentioned, Kirt, 5 furlongs. I think you can expect some lightning quick fractions. Who knows? Might even be in the 21 and 2, 21 and 4 kind of spots. I'm going to go, and some of them you got to cut back from 5.5. I'm going to go to the 9 as my top selection. Didn't get a clean trip last time. Was kind of caught between a few horses, and then kind of once got out and kind of closed. I don't mind post 9. It's going to be a little bit wide, but I think this horse can kind of sit outside, make a late move, and kind of at morning line of 8-1. So you're going to need the trip, but that's my top selection, Kirt.
Yeah, that's one of 3 girls that are in the race today. I ended up going to number 1, Crimson Advocate. First time out, this horse won 4.5 furlongs and didn't show the kind of speed that it wanted to, but that was on the dirt. Came back in a stake race as a maiden and made no mistakes, went right to the front, wire to wire, and then shipped on over the pond to Great Britain and ran an absolutely huge race, a 26-horse field. This horse wasn't sent hard on the inside, had the lead and lasted. But what I really like is the horse that finished in 2nd came back to win 2 stakes races in real impressive fashion, back-to-back with late rallies. So I think this one didn't look like it was tiring late. It was just a monster was chasing. So I'm going to give Crimson Advocate my top play.
Yeah, I do like that one. That almost was my top selection. Word's kind of out on this horse. That's how good this horse could be. Imagine trying to cull 26 horses. Jeez.
No, I don't. I'd need a helper.
That would
Stretch, I'd need you to grab at least 6 of them.
Yeah, that would be tough to do. You could give it a run. Let's go to the 7 as my third selection. Yes, I do know speed is tough at Santa Anita. Remember that Del Mar, you can close a little bit more. I just think there's so much other speed in here. Like I said, I do like the 1, but I'm going with a bit of a long shot. Last time I thought this horse was just too far back, and then one going away. I think if this horse can, yes, it was in a maiden race, but if it can get a little bit closer, certainly can pick up the pieces. And morning line 15-1, certainly get in there, even if our top selections are there. I've got to include that in my exactors and tries.
Yeah, another one I threw in, number 11, Slider. Here's a horse that has won 2 out of 3 starts. First time out, ran a really game second, but came back and just off the pace rallied and drew off to win. Hit the turf last time out, went wire to wire, had company late, but then dug in and drew off. And I really like when 2-year-olds do that. They show that want to win. Yes, it does draw the outside. There is other speed, but with that race 2 outs ago, I think this horse will be very live in here. And also throw in number 4, Big Eves. This horse running really well, has won 3 out of the last 4 starts. The blemish, couple outs ago, this horse ran against 2-year-olds and up. Not an easy spot to be in for a 2-year-old running against older seasoned horses. That was the big blemish, running 14th. But as the horse got past and he knew he wasn't going to get anything, he just wrapped up. And I really like that the horse came back to run huge and get the win next time out. So myself, I'm going to give you 1, 11, and 4. Now we're going to carry on to race number 6. And that's going to be the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. They're going to go 1 mile and a 16th on the dirt stretch. And this is probably going to be the biggest favorite in the Breeders' Cup.
I think you're right on that. But there's also so many unknowns mentioned in the intro about only 2 starts, some of 3. I agree. Is the horse to beat in here? Watch the replay, and it was kind of like a paid workout in the afternoon. It's just a matter of, can the horse go the 2 turns? I think the horse can. It's for me, it's the most likely winner on the card. Runs back to that. Like I said, it was an absolute gallop.
Yeah, if you watch that replay, watch when the horse takes off. It was sitting in second on the outside. Mike Smith did not move his hands. He probably just gave a little chirp to the horse, and the horse went by so easy, hit the head of the lane. He did not look back at any given point. He knew he was the winner. He knew he had more in the tank, and she looks like an absolute superstar. So she's my top play also.
Okay, and my second selection with maybe a small upset, because I'm looking for horses that have gone the 2 turns or the mile and the 16th in this case. This was the one. Liked how she picked up the pieces late. And if the 7 can't get to 2 turns or something falters, maybe the 1 can get there. So I had to use that was as my second selection. And then I needed a price as your second choice. This horse, a good stat to add to this before you talk about the 2, Kirt, is there's always a long shot in this race that runs in the try. So favorites do win this race, but there's always that long shot. So as Kirt with his long shots, he's got the 2. I've got that one too. This horse is his second choice. Was going into a different race. I don't have it. A turf was going in the turf race. I think this might be a surprise to the owners and trainers that this might be the spot. So maybe not a win type, but 15-1. Don't leave it out.
Yeah, this race doesn't have a lot of speed in it. Omaha Girl does bring some speed to the race, but Jody's Pride just has run so good in both outings, getting that win, sitting close, and then drawing off to win easily in both of them. With the stretch out today, Tamara does not like going to the lead, like sitting close. So I think whoever does get a loose lead, which I think Jody's Pride can, they're going to go a long way and then try and fend off in the end. But those 2 races were just so good. I think they were kind of surprised that the horse ran so well. Both of those races were supposed to be on the turf. They got taken off, and the horse is 2 for 2. As an owner, I'm wanting to put it on the turf, and I win 2 on the dirt. What would you do next time, Stretch?
Right where they are right now.
Yeah, I think so too. And Candide, I agree. Back-to-back wins. Perfect running style for this race. Has already gone a mile on his 16th. That is so valuable. And that was a good race at Keeneland. So I'm going to give you 7, 2, and 1. Now we're going to carry on to race number 7. And that's going to be the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. They're going to go 1 mile stretch. What about this one?
Well, let's start with a stat here.
All right.
And so then, everybody takes a look at the Euros and they say they win a bunch of races, and they do, but there's some races they don't win as often. So actually, the Euros in this race are 3 for 15 on these races. So that's something to consider. They certainly are talented. That's one. You've got a long shot in here that is coming from there. Certainly can win. You're going to see later on that there's somewhere you've almost have to take the Euros. So I don't think there's any low price horses in here for sure. I think it's actually wide open. I think you've got to get some positioning because it's hard to close from the back of the pack at Santa Anita. So if you're stuck in 10th or 11th, you're in a big bit of trouble. So let's go to the 3 as my top selection. I was just impressed with the turn of foot with her last time out. Hoping not to be as far back, but I just like how she ran back-to-back races. Circled last time was going away. I think if you repeat that effort, is going to be right there. 6-1 morning line. I'm taking 4-1. That's how much I like this horse. That's my top selection.
Well, you're talking about Euros not winning this race. What do I have? I have 3 Euros in here. Usually they're not represented that well in here. So that could be one of the stats that's kind of a muddied stat in here. I think the Euros have a lot more conditioning under them. They have a lot more races. They know how to do it now. So I'm taking a shot at some long shots in here, as it took me a long time to handicap this race. But I went to number 4, Lelaine. This horse is 6-time starter, 3 wins, a second, and 2/3. So every time this horse is sent to the gate, it runs a big race. Comes off a grade 3 against the boys, where it narrowly lost by a neck in the previous start against the fillies. Ran a good race in there, ran 3rd to another horse that is in here, and that is the 14 horse. So I think this horse is going to get really good position. It sits close. There isn't a lot of pace in this race also. So I'd like a horse that's going to sit within 3-4 lengths, make that big kick down the lane, and try and hold off the late chargers.
Okay, my second selection is Stretch's sneaky long shot troubled trip horse of the day.
Okay.
Whew, there's a tongue twister.
Yeah, totally.
So the key here is this is why you've got to watch replays. If you take a look, the line says four wide upper belatedly. That has nothing to do with this race at all. Watch the start of the race. The jockey has to grab a hold, sits dead last, and then makes up a lot of ground on a slow pace up front. Hopefully doesn't have to grab a hold and will sit that much closer. You're getting morning line at 12-1. You're seeing, 4th. Well, like I said, this horse had some trouble, and you don't see it in the chart. So watch that one. So, again, as Kirt makes a great point, you've got to be relatively close. If the horse is that far back, won't be there. But that's my 12-1. And then the last horse, I needed someone just in case to go on the lead. Last year or over the years, we've missed the speed horse, or we've taken some other ones, and somebody's got the lead. And my long shot at 30-1 could go to the lead, gets the rail. Take a look where they start the post position. Or it's kind of like if you play ASD at all, you know how quick it's like a 7-furlong race here. Short run, could get brave. The other pace horses are on the outside, especially 13. Huge disadvantage on that. So that's my other long shot, 3-7-1.
Yeah, I went for a couple price horses. I went for number 9, Carla's Way. Carla's Way was sprinting early on at the 6 furlongs, won its first maiden race, came back, didn't run very well in there, but then they laid the horse up for a bit and came back with a vengeance, run a really good second to Darnation, a comeback winner, and then winning its very next start, a nice grade 2 at Newmarket in Great Britain. Here's another one that will be forward in the race, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, forward horses in here. So the 9's my second choice, and number 14, Le Pavot. This horse had won 3 races coming into today, and was running in France most of the time. Last time out was third, beaten 5 to Opera Singer, who is a really nice one across the pond. Previous to that, back-to-back wins. It's a horse that likes to sit mid-pack. I like that race from 2 outs ago where it got up to get that win. I think position is everything, so I'm all Euro in here. 4, 9, and 14. All right, we're going to carry on to race number 8, and that's the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. They're going to go 1 mile and a 16th stretch. Forte won this race last year. Who's it going to be this year?
Yes, very good ad. Let's start with a couple good stats. The strongest running style kind of for this is being running near or on the lead. Usually they don't come off the pace too much in this field. Also, it's more of a chalkier race. I don't remember the price on Forte at all.
5 to 1.
5 to 1. So that's probably one of the higher ones there. I think there's some very, very talented race horses in here. Say that every year, but here's my bold prediction. Write this down for the Kentucky Derby. The horse that finishes in the top 3, so I'm going to have 3 shots at this, is going to win the Kentucky Derby. Whoever's in the top 3, that's who you need to use. That's how good I think these are. I'm going to go. I have kind of co-top choices in here. I will start on the 10 as my top selection, or at least mention this horse first. Main reason I think the horse is going to get a nice trip in here. Has run at the track before, so that makes why I use this horse a little bit higher. The problem, there's had a little bit of a problem in the replay, but I just think that should have no trouble going a little bit farther. That was a couple back, sorry. And then something to pay attention to, as Kirt mentioned in the start, adjust. Outside bias, if outside bias, then maybe use the 10. If not, I might go going somewhere else. So that's my top selection, co-top. Kirt, your 6 is your top selection that's going to win the Derby, I guess.
Yeah, well, I really like Locked. This horse, first time out, rallied from way back to run third, but I don't think the horse liked the 6 furlong distance. The comeback race when they got to stretch out, so much better, as it did win easily by 7. Stepped it up to the grade 1 status and ran against the Wine Steward, the 1 horse, and ran a great race in there, was on the outside and kind of hung out to dry in the race. But what I like is that the horse was determined to win that race, battled every step of the way, and then edged clear in the end. I think has a really good running style for here. There is speed all over the place. I think there's at least going to be a 3-way battle. So I want someone sitting just behind the leaders, and I think that's number 6 Locked.
Yep, that's fair. We both have the 4 in our second spot. I'll start. Could have almost been my top selection. It kind of wasn't, mainly because it hasn't run over the track. It's coming out of a key race for the Champagne. Many of them come from there and win that. It depends on what they're going to do with this horse. As Kirt says, there could be a lot of speed. I completely agree. It's just a matter of who wants to go or who can sit. So if there's a rail bias, right price might be my win bet. Kirt?
Yeah, I like this horse a lot too. It has been well restrained in the last 2 races, sitting behind horses, waiting for the head of the lane to explode. And I'm kind of surprised that they would do that to such a young horse, as in the rating part. But 2 outs ago, the horse rated, exploded to the lead, and got beat by a really deep closer. Last time out, there was no mistakes. Sat, waited, pounced, drew off easy. I think Timberlake is going to be a really nice one.
For sure. And then let's go to 2 as my third selection. I'm not sure what we're going to get here. Hasn't lost, so you don't really want to go against these type. It's also, but it's going the 2 turns. It's just a matter of look at the last race, 5 cents on the dollar, and then how about 5 cents on the dollar first lifetime start? How often do you see that? So
not often,
not often, and
but it was a 4-horse.
That's very true. Last time 5 cents kind of worries me on what type of competition. So maybe the numbers are inflated. So I've got to include the horse just because it hasn't lost and it looks like there's still some growth. So I will go 7-4-2 in the prequel to the Derby.
All right, and the Wine Steward is my third selection in here. My top selection is Lock the 6. While the Wine Steward ran second behind Lock, but the Wine Steward got a really good trip in there, but the horse was right where it wanted to be at every step of the race. was showing a little bit of tactical speed. Yes, was on the inside, had to do a little weaving through, but got the way better trip than locked it in there. But this horse did fight again all the way to the wire. If you're going to show good fight, get the rail and be able to stalk a race where I think is going to be a lot of speed, I got to put it in my top three. That's why I have 6, 4, and 1. Now we're going to carry on to race number 9, and this is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. They're going to go 1 mile stretch. What a race this should be.
It is. And so here's one that does favor the Euros. 11 wins by the Euros, 6 from the North Americans in the last 17. I always, again, mention like getting the trends. Kirt does have the Euros in that, so I'm proud of him there.
Finally, Stretch. I'm learning.
Anyway.
Always learning. You have to in this
always
game.
have to learn. Absolutely. You've got to watch these replays. Many of them are so much easy to get now. You just go to the HPI and click on the
that's
horse
a great way.
instead of having to go through everything,
And
include
then go on YouTube and
Absolutely.
find the name of the race and spell it correctly, get the right year. Yeah, the one time I had a tough time, Stretch. I think it was about 35 hours watching about 25 replays. It was crazy.
Completely. Let's go to the 4 as my top selection. Kirt does have it in there. This horse was dead last time. A nice replay to watch, and then made an absolute a nice move outside wide. And then what I liked with this horse, actually almost had a second gear, if possible, that last 16th. And I just liked how this horse kind of refused to get lose. And so I think the horse certainly can improve. I think if the horse is not last, dead way at the back, certainly can be there. 12-1 morning line for me. This will be a win bet, especially at that price. I was just so impressed as that one as my top selection.
Yeah, I think this horse, Can Group, is all about the turf. 2 for 2 on the turf. Didn't like the dirt that much. Maybe it didn't like the distance either as they stretched out and went on the turf. Was everything. But I went to number 2, River Tiber. Here's an interesting one. This horse won its first 3 outings and did it in really good fashion. Broke the maiden by 10, came back, ran in a lower stake race, was the winner by 2 in a short field of 5, then hit a 20-horse field and won by a neck. That is the key race for me in the next 2 starts. Had to go against Van Dijk. Who's Van Dijk? Well, it's an undefeated horse out there that just doesn't want to lose and looked impressive. I had to watch those replays and see what this horse was all about, and it is an absolute running machine. So River Tiber did not lose those races, was just beaten by a better horse. And what I liked Unquestionable as one of my top plays in here. But if you look, this horse ran against Bucanero Fuerte and lost to it in back-to-back races, while River Tiber made quick work of Bucanero Fuerte. So maybe that's a little bit of signs there. And Aidan O'Brien, tough to bet against him in any kind of the turf races. So the 2 is my top play.
Yeah, good pick. Kirt talked about that angle just before we started, and so I'm willing to listen and obviously learn. My picks are the 8. He sold me on the 2, so I will be including the 2 in there, some real good ones. One thing that I do like about the 8 fits all the angles coming into some past winners. So there's trends. You kind of take a look at which horses have had preps, and then they come here and they win. That one's right there. So that's why you can't leave it out. As Kirt hasn't, makes a good point. Maybe I should sneak the 2 in, but I'm not going to do that to Adam just yet.
Where did the jockey go from that horse, Stretch?
Yeah, okay, moving on. Let's go to the 7. So we're going to talk about the 7 as the next best North American horse. Comes out of a good prep as well. I just was impressed. I was actually more impressed with this horse 2 back, and I think maybe if the last one, even though the buyer went up, I think is going to run even better because of that 2 back race. Got to use it in there. 3rd in a row makes it tough. 4, 8, 7, 2.
Yeah, it's tough having Irad Ortiz in the saddle. And my 3rd selection is that Can Group. As we said, this horse I just think loves the turf. So I'm giving you 2, 8, and 4. Okay, Stretch, what's your bet in race number 5?
Well, I'm gonna just start it off easy. I think it's a wide open race. You're a little bold on the first race. That's fine. I'm just gonna $3 exacta bucks 1479, and it's 36. If you just want to do it $1, it's 12.
And myself, this is the only pick 5 I'm playing because I see a solid key in here, and it's a 60 center. So I'm going to go 1, 4, 11. Then I'm keying the 7. I'm loading up after that with 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 14. Then taking the 4 and 6 and rounding it off with the 2 and 8. That'll cost $43.20. Okay, Stretch, what's your bets in race number 6?
Well, why not have a couple pick 4s, Kurt?
Yeah, why not?
So just so you know, you can do 60.
I might have to buy in.
You might have to buy in.
It only cost me $50 to buy in.
That's true. That will be maybe a buddy bet there. You can bet 60-cent pick 4s, or I'm playing $1 on one confident one, but that's the minimum if you're in Canada, 60 cent. Here's the 2 tickets. Key in the 7 with 1, 3, 6, 7, 11, 12, with 2, 4, 10, with 2, 4, 7, 8. Then I'm going to do a 60 center just in case the big favorite gets beat. 1, 2, and 7 with 1, 3, 7 with 2, 4, 10. I have the 4 and 8, but if we're butting up, I might add the 2. If you don't, it's 32.40.
And myself, I'm just going to do a $1 tractor wheel. I'm taking the 7 on top with the 2 with all. That's $11. And then I'm going to do the wedge. I'm taking the 7 on top with all with 2. Total bet, $22. Okay, Stretch, on to race number 7. What do you have?
Well, I've got 2 bets. I will go a $3 exacta box 1, 3, and 7. And a bit of a price play here, 20 place on 7, just in case he's too far back.
And myself, I see it as a wide open race. I'm doing an exactor box. I'm boxing 5 horses, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 14. That'll cost $20.
We couldn't be any farther apart there, Kurt.
Yeah. Okay, Stretch, on to race number 8. What do you got for bets?
Well, gotta get a
one of your tractors.
the triangles here. 2, 4, and 10 on top, with 1, 2, 4, 10 in the middle, and 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 in third. $36. I think your right combo, it's gonna pay all right.
And myself, I'm gonna go after the late daily double. I'm gonna take the 4 and 6 in here, and the 2 in the last leg, a $10 daily double for $20. Okay, Stretch, race number 9. What do you have?
This is another price horse. It's from North America. I just like how this horse is running, so we're going to go 10 win on the 4, 30 place on 4, just in case one of the Euros are extra special.
And myself, I'm keying the 2. I really like it in here to try and go all the way, so I'm going to take a triactor. The 2 on top with the 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. With the 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. That's going to cost $20. Good luck with all your juvenile bets on Friday evening, and we'll be back for Saturday. 9 races, races 3 through 11. The older horses are going to go at it. Good luck on Friday night.